Liam had always prided himself on being a man of routine. His mornings began with black coffee, a 5-mile run, and a glance at the financial reports before heading to his architecture firm. Life had been predictable since his divorce from Clara, a separation that left him wary of love, but devoted to his 10-year-old son, Ethan. The boy was his anchor, a reminder that some bonds couldn't be broken, even when trust shattered. Then came Sylvia. She'd walked into his office 6 months ago, her resume in hand, and a quiet determination in her hazel eyes. At 28, she was younger than most applicants, but her portfolio, a mix of bold designs and meticulous detail, caught his attention. Liam hired her as a junior architect, impressed by her hunger to prove herself. Sylvia was sharp, relentless, and unafraid to challenge his ideas during meetings. There was a fire in her he hadn't seen in years, not since Clara had dimmed it with her own ambitions. Their professional relationship blurred one evening after a late client meeting. Sylvia lingered by his desk, her laughter softening the edges of his exhaustion. She mentioned a new art exhibit downtown, and before he could overthink it, Liam asked her to join him. The night unfolded with wine, shared stories of failed relationships, and a kiss outside her apartment that tasted like recklessness. He told himself it was harmless, a distraction, nothing more. But Sylvia wasn't Clara. She didn't pry about his past or demand more than he could give. Instead, she slipped seamlessly into his life, cooking dinners with Ethan, tutoring the boy in math, and filling the empty spaces in Liam's schedule with hikes and quiet weekends at his cabin. For the first time in years, he felt lighter. The cracks began subtly. Sylvia started working later, citing deadlines, but her sketches grew rushed, her focus fractured. She'd cancel plans last minute, blaming migraines or a sick aunt. Liam brushed it off, until the night he found her phone buzzing on the kitchen counter. The screen lit up with a single name, Marcus. He didn't recognize it. Sylvia claimed Marcus was a client, an investor interested in a downtown project. But her voice tightened when she said it, and she never left her phone unattended again. Ethan noticed it first. "Why does Sylvia smell like smoke now?" he asked one evening, scrunching his nose as she hugged him goodbye. Liam frowned. Sylvia didn't smoke. But later, when he pulled her close, he caught it too, the faint sting of cigarettes clinging to her sweater. A habit she'd never had. Then came the Saturdays she'd spend running errands, returning flushed and distracted. Once, he found a parking stop from a garage across town, miles from her usual haunts. When he questioned her, she laughed it off. "You're paranoid, Liam. It's just a coffee shop." But paranoia, once seeded, grows roots. The breaking point arrived on a rain-soaked Thursday. Liam had left his office early to surprise Sylvia with tickets to a jazz concert she'd mentioned. Her desk was empty, her coat gone. A junior intern glanced up, hesitant. She left with Mr. Donovan, said it was a site visit. Liam froze. Marcus Donovan, a name he'd seen in trade magazines. A developer known for luxury high-rises, and a reputation for charming his way through boardrooms and bedrooms. He drove to the address the intern provided, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. The site was a half-built condo complex, skeletal beams clawing at the grey sky. Through the downpour, he spotted Sylvia's red sedan parked beside a black Range Rover. Liam didn't approach. Instead, he waited, the rain blurring his windshield as his mind replayed every lie, every evasion. 20 minutes later, they emerged from a trailer. Sylvia's hair tousled, her blouse misbuttoned. Marcus held an umbrella over her, his hand lingering at the small of her back as he whispered something that made her laugh. The sound cut through Liam like glass. He followed them to a boutique hotel downtown, watched as they disappeared into the lobby. For an hour, he sat in his car, rage and grief warring in his chest. Then he texted Sylvia. "Where are you?" Her reply was immediate. "Still at the site. Rain's a nightmare. Heading home soon." The lie was bold, effortless. Liam stared at his phone, the betrayal crystallizing into something cold and sharp. He drove to her apartment, let himself in with the key she'd given him, and waited. When she returned, her cheeks still flushed, he didn't shout, didn't accuse. Instead, he held up her forgotten scarf, the one he'd found tangled in the passenger seat of his car weeks ago, reeking of Marcus's cologne. "Tell me the truth," he said quietly, "or I walk out that door, and you never see Ethan again."